Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, and welcome back everybody to the solo adventure with just a single monk. Last time we managed to defeat Atmos surprisingly easily in a true solo character challenge run fashion, and this time around I'm going to go ahead and just equip the elf cape again for now, and well, we move on. The next place we move on to is Guido's cave, where we have to just walk through the entirety of the cave. Not terribly eventful, most of the enemies are not really worthwhile fighting unless you're specifically looking to get a light staff, which, well, as a monk we can't use anyways. But yeah, here we are, and good morning everybody, or good afternoon. While you hunt for a rainbow pudding. Where are you hunting for a rainbow pudding, if I may ask? Good luck to you. Welcome to you as well, Riot Power, and Surge, and Toasted Zergling, and anybody else. Let me actually check real quick. How much HP do these things have? Too much. And Vampire really doesn't help our case, does it? Oh, they counterattack. Alright. Turns out... Alright, that is actually pretty good experience for 2 kicks. I do believe I'm just gonna equip the bone mail here for reversing the vampire effect. Either way, those enemies are pretty interesting to me. Because that was a lot of experience actually for relatively little time investment. I did that wrong. Need to go to the other door first. Final Fantasy 4 3D, rare item. I see. Best of luck to you. Metamorphos don't do anything on their first turn, so even though they are faster than our monk, we actually can just, well, ignore them really. I don't really plan on getting any more levels. For reference, I have calculated that in order to deal more damage against specifically X-Def at the end of World 2 here, I would need to get up to level 56 actually. Let me check. Just double checking real quick. Yeah, level 56 would be the next level threshold. The reason why it's higher than before it was for Atmos is quite simply because we are not going to have the strength accessory equipped, so we just deal less damage. And Pupil, thank you. Thank you very much for 50 months of support, that's a crazy long time. Welcome back, and I'm glad you enjoy your stay. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, I got a timer! Oh no. I do this way too often. I'm just gonna advance like 3 minutes. Hopefully that's gonna be sufficient. It's not terribly precise anyways, but yeah. Sorry, I tend to scroll up in chat in order to catch up on what people were saying while I have time during combat and such. So I'll just scroll down to where everybody yells at me that, hey, the timer. When was Jagadorp renamed? Recently. Because I felt like that was just kind of a more appropriate name for it. And I have only made 6 naming mistakes so far since I've renamed it. Welcome to you as well, Vintage Look and Tasty Beer TV and anybody else. I hope you're all doing well. I think it's literally 2 days ago during the last monk stream, if I'm not mistaken. Hey, the Metamorpha did not even transform. So all the Metamorphas do is they transform into 1 or 3 different forms. And then they, well, just attack once and then transform back. And that's just the entire thing they do. They just keep repeating it afterwards. And there's actually like 3 different types of Metamorphos. Each one of them have 3 different transformations. So if you are trying to get specifically like some blue magic like Arrow 3 from one of the Metamorphos, it might be pointless to just wait around and hope that he eventually transforms into the Enchanted Fan, because that specific Metamorpho might not be able to. So yeah. And Grrr is now continuing the gifts updates got from Hotrod. Thank you. That's really nice of you. Welcome back to you, and I'm glad you enjoy your stay. Time is relative, but not important. Wait, no. Really? Sure, we can go with that. An Eagle Falcon. Thank you for the 100 bits. I do appreciate those. And also, Toasted Circling. Thank you so much for the 100 bits as well. I just remembered that there was another one earlier. Thank you. You're too kind. Oh yeah, the panic one. I probably should just remove that command, shouldn't I? Because I plan on replacing most of the emotes with our, well, actual channel mascot at this point that isn't Grimer or the Rabbit. I will probably still keep the Rabbit and Grimer emotes around until I'm made to remove them, but other ones, I think, well, it does, just don't quite fit as well. Alrighty, we have acquired the branch, which allows us to go into the Forest of Moor, and, well, we just keep walking at this point. All the way back outside. If we had a time mage, we could just use the exit spell, but, well, we don't have a time mage, so we just walk. Trying to find the panic. There it is. Goodbye, panic. So now that I have the bone mail equipped, it will heal us instead of, well, damaging us. Vampire deals damage equivalent to half your missing HP. But because a bone mail reverses the drain effects, both HP and MP drain effects, more specifically being undead reverses the drain effects. Well, we are not exactly affected by these. That looks weird, it does. Yeah, the build your own face, or the build your own emotes, never took off the way I hoped they would. Still kind of like them, to say the least. But at the same time, it's like, well, maybe some other time. Once we have more emote slots. Well, if we ever get more emote slots, I guess. That's okay. Alrighty, we have managed to get through the Guido's cave. And now we are just on our way further. One thing I'm gonna do briefly is I'm going to revive Caliph here. And I'm gonna go ahead and give him the wall ring. Or one of them anyways. The reason for this is going to become obvious once we defeat the next boss. But basically it's going to save us a lot of time. There's technically even a faster way to use the bone mail instead, but I think I'm just gonna keep the bone mail equipped on. But that way we take less damage from the upcoming enemies, and that should be just fine. Probably. Alrighty, we also can go to Moor. There's not a whole lot that we need to do here. Normally this is where you get the wind daggers, and a lot of classes benefit from being able to use the wind daggers because they're pretty strong. We could get a tiger mask, but it doesn't give any plus strength and not much more defense, so it's not really worthwhile. We could also get a diamond plate or diamond pelt. I don't know what it's supposed to be. This one can have some fringe case uses because the physical defense increase really does not matter to me in this case. More specifically, well, it is 19 defense as opposed to 17 for the strength armor. But for the most part, I don't really care too much about that. What it could be used for is diamond equipment does actually reduce the damage you receive from lightning effects by half. So that's what it could be used for in theory. So for example, if we equip the flame ring plus diamond plate, we absorb fire as healing, we negate ice, thanks to the flame ring, both of these, as well as, well, we have lightning-based damage, so if an enemy attacks with all 3 elemental attacks, then they wouldn't get much, well, particularly far with us, let's put it that way. Alrighty, and we are in the Forest of Moor. There's not really anything I would want to fight in here, I don't think, aside from some, like, isolated enemy sets that are just literally one enemy at a time. And the reason for that is quite simple. They are faster for one. And they have a good amount of HP that the kick is not just going to do the trick. So yeah, we just run away. The mini-mages, or more specifically a set of mini-mages, would actually be pretty interesting overall. And Naki Kitsune Puppy, thank you for the raid and the host, I appreciate that. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. Welcome everybody to the solo challenge run in Final Fantasy 5 with a monk. Just one monk. And currently we are, well, decently high level. I don't know whether we are high enough level for the rest of the game, but we are probably not too far away from that, to say the least. We'll see. We certainly have more than enough maximum HP to work through the next set of enemies, which, by the way, worth noting, I still have the plus 30% HP ability equipped that we have learned from mastering the monk. And I will probably keep that equipped for a while longer. There's not much of a reason for me to use any of the other abilities currently, because most of the enemies around here, well, they just deal a little bit of damage, but there's no specific thresholds I would want to punch through quickly. That's actually not entirely true, I suppose, now that I think about it. Thinking about the next set of bosses here, the crystals. Alrighty, just moving on. Either way, I figure the maximum HP is going to be helpful. Then again, we already have a lot of maximum HP, so it's not really that big of a deal overall. One thing worth noting, in case you're wondering about all the chests in this forest, I've picked up the elixir. That is the one relevant chest across the board here. The thing is, all of the other chests are not really interesting or relevant to a solo monk. They would contain a little bit of money. Well, it's actually a good amount of money, let's put it that way. Or some, like, simple equipment like an ether, or potions for a chemist. Effectively nothing we can really use. Not a whole lot else to say about that. For the most part, most of the things are not terribly useful. Worth noting here, if we pick up this chest here later, or more specifically after the forest burns down, we would actually get a flame shield from that chest. The flame shield sells for more gold than, well, the Aegis shield here, but at the same time, by the way, the Moogle is going to Goomba stomp us into the hole right here. Just because of where I'm standing. Stomp! Alright, either way, I don't really need money on the monk. We don't have to buy any weapons, for one, and for two, well, we have almost 450,000 gold. And still 14 elixirs. Later on you will be able to buy elixirs for 50,000 gold each. But yeah, I don't think we necessarily need most of these. Well, not for a while. Maybe eventually. Aegis Shield is muscle memory? Yeah, normally it is. In this case, it's a deliberate choice because I'm picking up the Aegis Shield. Because I didn't want to walk through more enemy encounter areas. While the forest is burning, there's no enemy encounters, so I just figured might as well just go ahead and pick it up. Since I don't need the money from the flame shield, which sells for a lot more, I just figured might as well do it that way. Alrighty. Gonna go outside here just in case I make a mistake or some kind, and save, and then we go back in. Just on the right there contains some ash. Ash is, well, not useful. In the Game Advance version you can actually use it with the Cannoneer Combine ability and blind enemies, so it does have some use, but in the Super Nintendo version the only thing you can do with ash is you can throw it with a ninja. It's literally just a very weak throwing weapon. That's it. It doesn't do anything special beyond that. And on the left side there's a chest with a flame sword in it. Flame sword is just exclusively a knight sword. There's normal swords and there's knight swords. And it's pretty good with its attack power. And with the Solo Knight challenge we actually ended up using that one for quite a bit, since in conjunction with the flame ring it allows you to heal yourself for quite a bit. It's pocket sand. No one ever expected pocket sand. Maybe. Alrighty, so I'm actually going to keep the elf cape equipped and the bone mail. The elf cape gives me a chance to dodge physical attacks, and even though I'm not going to take much physical damage from the upcoming enemies here, I don't want to counterattack them. That's actually mildly important. I'm going to keep the bone mail equipped, which means I cannot heal myself directly. Oh, wait, no. I'm gonna equip the flame ring. That would have been a mistake. I just realized what I was doing there. I want the flame ring in order to absorb fire damage as healing. There we go. Alrighty, welcome to the Crystal Guardians, or the Seal Guardians, whatever you want to call them. Each one of them has 7,777 HP. Once it drops below 3,000 HP remaining, they will start using their, well, ability to hit your entire party for quite a bit of damage, let's put it this way. Before that, all they ever do is physically attack, and that's all they do. So this actually could be a bit of a problem right here, if we get too many counterattacks. Because as you can see, we do counterattack for a lot. In fact, what I want to do is I want to knock this crystal at the top below 3000 HP remaining. The reason for this is quite simple, because, well, once the top crystal starts using its special ability at move, it will, well, start using Fire 3. Fire 3 is very, very handy for us because we get healed for 1500. This is why I have the Flame Ring equipped. And now, since the top crystal is just using Fire 3, we can easily take it out with, just use it as a healing measure. The bottom crystal would be casting Earth, or, well, Quake. By the way, generally speaking, all of the crystals hit your entire party for about 500 to 700 damage, depending on which crystal is shooting what. The crystal on the right was casting Aquaric, the one at the bottom was casting Quake, both about 500 damage, and always hit your entire party. The crystal on the left actually does cast wind abilities, or wind attacks, which the wind attack as well as the Fire 3 attack can both be single target or multi-target, depending on, well, whether you single or multi-target it, which means if you multi-target a spell that is both multi or single target, the attack power of that spell is halved. So in this case, Arrow 3 deals effectively double damage than it would normally to your entire party, or at least 2 party members. However, this was surprisingly easy. I didn't expect to deal this much damage with the Fizz. I think we just reached a threshold where we easily knocked out these crystals in like just 3 attacks. That was very surprisingly easy. To be fair, I did not expect it to be difficult. It's more of a concept that I did not even need the flame ring, which is kind of what I'm most surprised by. We did get a bit of luck with which enemies we ended up counterattacking and which enemies ended up being, well, in critical HP just in time. But yeah, that worked quite well. Hello! Welcome to you, referee, classic move, Trisalizer, and the minion, anybody else. Hope you're doing well. Mistake prevented by explaining stuff. Yes, actually, that's well, literally what happened. Happens actually a surprising amount, I dare to say, to me anyways. Either way, this cutscene battle here coming up is the reason why I have Galuf with a reflex ring. Because Galuf is level 1. This next cutscene battle here is supposed to be that epic showdown between Galuf and Xdeath. But because Galuf effectively has infinite HP, well, you just need to deal, like, what was it, 7,500 damage to Xdeath in order to advance the cutscene. So there's like multiple ways of cutting that battle short. For example, I could have equipped a bone mail on Galuf and then used a Phoenix down on Galuf in order to shorten the cutscene right there. However, I wanted to use the bone mail on the monk, so I would take basically no physical damage from the crystal, which probably wasn't entirely necessary, but instead now I gave him the wall ring, which will reflect the spells. Since Galuf himself is not going to be able to deal much damage at all with his attacks, just because, well, he's level 1. So yeah, either way, he is so angry that he is literally unable to die in this encounter. But he also has permanent HP leak status, so yeah, water doesn't do anything. So I'm actually curious whether Xdeath triggers his AI script. So let me explain something real quick. I just realized that. I didn't even think about it until just now. So the way this battle works is I need to attack Xdeath, and every attack once he's below a certain threshold is going to advance the cutscene a little bit further. But because I'm not attacking him, I wonder whether the cutscene even advances. I think the cutscene does advance, yes. The world of death we're here. Player. Like, Galuf is literally just standing there reflecting the spells, and this is what makes Xdeath so mad. I think that's quite funny. The only thing that goes through the wall is Meteor, which would kill Galuf like 5 times over, to be fair. Oh, more like 1,000 times over, actually. Hello. I think I need to attack him in order to end the fight here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I need to attack him. I'm just curious whether he does anything aside from just regular physical attacks. I don't think he does. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Alrighty, so I was actually not entirely correct in how the AI script works. It still does technically do the thing I said, but he effectively needs to be, well, below the HP and have done the AI script thingy. But then you need to attack 3 times in order to end the battle here. I was actually so basically what I was wondering is whether you could technically deplete Xdef's HP total. I felt like that would have been pretty funny if he actually straight up died to reflected spells, but turns out that's not quite how this works. Oh, well, Wave. Welcome to you as well. I hope you're doing well. And welcome to you, Kitsune Puppy. I hope you have a nice day so far. And thank you for reading the host earlier. Poor Galuf doesn't even get to keep the AP from defeating Xdef. Yep. Well, I guess kind of that's the idea of you probably may want to play that game sooner rather than later. In that case, I suppose. But then again, that's not how playing games necessarily works, is it? And here, Kara inherits everything that Galuf once knew, and how strong he was. Which, in our case for a solo challenge, basically means... well, she gets a mithril dagger. So she can knock herself, well, to sleep. Until later, that is. Yeah. Might be tricky. Alrighty, welcome to the team, Kara. You get your grandfather's mithril dagger. And you just go to sleep. That's how it works around here. You don't have to do anything. But the monk is just going to punch every enemy into submission. That's the plan, that's the idea. Let's see how well this is going to work. Galuf had no skills either. He was really good at sleeping. So is Kara nowadays, and everybody else for that matter. I mean, it is quite impressive if you can sleep through these entire skirmishes, in my opinion. Alrighty, do I want to do anything else? No, not this time. Normally what I like to do is I like getting float on like solo characters before entering Xdef's castle. Because float is useful for both just traversing Xdef's castle, since there's some damaging floor you can avoid through having the float status. But also Xdef himself has one turn where he has a 2 in 3 chance to cast Quake. But with float you just circumvent that damage entirely. But, well... So the reason why I'm not getting a float is quite simply because I can't. The way you normally get float with anything that isn't, well, inherently able to cast float on your own characters is by confusing a bird in the North Mountains. Well, north of Gallup Castle, that is, in the Hero Valley? I don't know what it's called. Either way, there's these stink eagles enemies, and if you confuse them, they have a chance to cast float on your character, if you give them an ether, that is, because they don't have enough MP normally. So you basically need to confuse them somehow, give them MP, and then they have a chance to cast float on you, if they play along and don't kill themselves because they're confused. So almost every character can do this, with two exceptions of all the job classes. The two exceptions are Oracle, who cannot cast any confusion, because alongside Monk, the two characters cannot equip daggers. The Dancing Dagger is the one weapon that allows you to cast confusion with a 1 in 8 chance whenever you attack with the Tempting Tango. And if you can't equip dagger, well, you better have the ability to innately cast confusion, otherwise it's not going to work. The White Mage, for that matter, can cast Confuse by itself. So that's why it's exactly two job classes that cannot actually get float even if they want to. We're going to Tango now? Nope, because the Monk cannot equip the Dancing Dagger, so we just get to cast Fist, that's about it, and sometimes Kick. Mark just wishing Kick could target his party. Wow, that would be mean. Do you use any of the learned abilities in this run? Yes. Currently I have HP plus 30% equipped, so, well, we have 30% more HP than what we would normally have. Which, in this case, is just about 1,200-ish HP more than, well, what we would normally have. Also, this is why I have the Bone Man equipped. Charm, basically Drain gets reversed, so we get healed instead of damaged. Oh, I should not do that. I just realized that's a bad idea. And Confusion doesn't work on a charm character. That chest up there contains an Ice Shield. Ice Shield has 40% physical block chance and absorbs ice as healing instead. So it's pretty good. So the reason why I shouldn't mess with these Dark Wizards is because if they are alone, they will cast Break, which is Petrification, which we are not immune to, and X-Zone, which is the Time Magic Instant Death Attack, which we are also not immune to. So what we can do with these encounters here is, this is a golem. It's made out of stone. Something like that. And if you use the item that removes petrification from your party members on him, he is instantly dead. He does have like, I don't know, 4,000 or so HP? I don't remember. It's a lot of HP. Either way, then we have just these bunnies here remaining, and if they just knock themselves out via our counters, then we don't really have to worry about them. What these bunnies normally do if we try to fight them straight up, as in, if I were to attack here, the bunny here will cast Life 2 on one random party member. It's kind of like this. So if it revives the golem, I can just use soft again, but it might just revive, well, another bunny again. Now the funny thing is, it can cast Life 2 on itself, which doesn't do anything, of course. But either way, it's probably just more efficient to wait until the counter finishes off or run away. I'm just kinda curious whether we might be able to reach the next level here while walking into Exeter's castle. I don't normally fight stuff in here unless I specifically want to level, since we don't have the most efficient way of dealing with most enemy packs here. So that's that. So here you could walk through the lava for a slight shortcut, but because I'm not floating, each step on a damaging tile costs me 1/16 of my maximum health. And that's a lot of damage taken, let's put it this way. Fire 2 actually deals extra damage and ignores our magic defense, because we have the bone mail equipped. Alrighty, and now it's just a wall mage remaining. I have to admit, a monk leveled up decently high, like, well, this one here packs quite a punch, to say the least. Like, that's a lot of damage overall. Even with decent weapon and their abilities, like for example the Knight two-handed ability, you don't normally deal quite this much damage to enemies, so they're definitely a little bit over-leveled. Well, a fair bit over-leveled, let's be real. But at the same time, this is kind of the gold level I wanted to have for X-Def at the end of World 2 here. Because X-Def is going to be a menace. So the previous boss at 20,000 HP. Well, the next boss has 32,768 HP total. However, technically I only need to deal, well, slightly more than half than that in order to win, as long as I manage to push him into phase 2 with enough HP remaining. We effectively win, because he will not be able to deal enough damage to us to knock us out, and he is going to continuously just punch himself via the reflect ring. The problem is that X-Def at the end of this castle here has a significant chance, specifically a 2 in 3 chance, to just straight up kill us in his very first turn, and then once he loops through his entire AI script, again a 2 in 3 chance to just kill us. The monk should, in theory, with a little bit of luck with counterattacks and maybe one critical hit, in theory the monk has enough damage in order to defeat X-Def without it being able to loop through his entire AI script. This is the main reason why I wanted to be level 50... 51 I think would have been the one. No, actually 52 was the main goal. However, I went for 53 specifically, because this would allow me to also deal with an equivalently easy way against Atmos without having to resort to, well, the backup strategy that a lot of other solo characters have to use against Atmos. So it ended up working out quite fine, I'd have to say. And the enemy encounters do give a lot of experience here. They might actually be technically more efficient than the torrents outside that we ended up grinding on. But the torrents are both, well, easier. Literally just you get it to encounter and kick them and that's it. As well as... I do think. Yeah, they should be easier, as well as potentially still faster, because it might take quite a while to knock out an entire enemy encounter in these sections here. Alrighty, let's see what we get here. Order drive. Are these the ones that can hang on? No, those are not the ones, are they? Order drive. That's a weird name for an enemy, isn't it? Mortar drive, they have... No, it's not these ones. So there's enemies that are basically just a recolor of these ones here in particular. And... we're fine. And they would have a chance to drop us the Kaizen Knuckle accessory, which would be pretty insanely good to have here. But yeah, I remembered correctly that you couldn't get that until now. So, We have 5454 HP. Taking one step in the lava. Another one means that we take a good chunk of damage. Is that level 16? Hang on, 5454 divided by 16. 340 damage, so one step would be... That's only 50 damage. It's not 116. I'm really confused right now. I thought it was 1/16th of your maximum health, so this is actually very much a non-issue for a monk right here. Maybe it's other damaging tiles that do that? So yeah, I'm not sure. You thought it was 100 per step. It turns out it's 50 per step. I was just wondering whether it is 1/16th, unless it exceeds 50, and then it would be just downscaled to 50. Not sure. Not sure. Welcome to Isilas Alside and Escrunt, Plastic Move, Ref Alandrin, Referee, anybody else who might have joined us. I hope you're doing well. By the way, most of the chests I'm skipping just contain money, or items that I would basically just sell for money. Like for example, one of these chests on the right side, I never remember which one, contains a double lance. The double lance is an insanely good thief and ninja weapon, so I do recommend you pick it up if you have one of these in your party. Preemptive strike. I'm just gonna run away. Don't want to mess with dark wizards. So this chest is empty, but if you interact with it, you actually trigger the Gilgamesh fight right here. So, Gilgamesh fight is completely optional, but, well, I've kind of made it tradition at this point that I'm just gonna go for him. Try to defeat him. Gonna equip the strength armor, trying to overpower him. You know what? I'm actually going to be cheeky here, and I'm also going to equip the power ring on top of it. Because you want to defeat Gilgamesh as quick as possible. He is really bad with his status effect attacks that he can throw at you. He has a lot of different status effects that can affect you, among others halving your levels. And we have seen in previous times where Physic or any character just deals half damage. A monk deals a quarter damage after getting the level halved. And there it is. I'm just gonna reset. Actually, let me just demonstrate. We deal 400 damage. We need to deal 13,000 damage to this guy. So this is literally what we tried to avoid. Also, he is really fast. So yeah, to be fair, this is probably still more damage than a lot of other classes can do, despite the damage being, or the HP being basically quartered. Also, he has Hurricane, and unless I get my heal in before, he would just knock me out. So yeah, this guy, we want to get rid of him as quick as possible. So this is why I equipped the power ring in this case. The idea of the power ring... Also, there's my death counter. There it is. Alright. The idea of the power ring is effectively that I don't want to dodge his physical attacks. I want to have a chance to counterattack instead. As well as I need to be able to heal in case he throws the hurricane at me. Plus, I actually get an additional strength multiplier through this kind of equipment set, so I actually technically deal even more damage. Well, I would, if he doesn't Sonic Wave me turn 1. So let's hope he doesn't do it this time. Alright, counterattack please. So 50-50 whether we counterattack or not. Either way, yeah, this is literally quartering my HP. Yeah. So he has strange dance, which puts us to sleep. Thankfully, he just used a physical attack to wake me back up. There's the Hurricane to put me into critical HP, so we even have to heal. Oh, he is really fast, so that doesn't help. I just hope for regular physical attacks that we can counter. Rocket Punch will actually well, let me correct this. It would confuse us, but we actually currently have immunity to confusion thanks to the Pole Myth. Excuse me. thanks to the bone mail, even though we don't have the bone mail equipped. Now the way that works is we need to remove Mini because our attack power is set to 3, otherwise. Either way, the reason why we're into confusion is because bone mail gives us immunity. And for some reason, the game does not actually carry over the... No. Backwards. For some reason, the game... we're dead unless he uses a special attack. Yeah. Let's try this again. So basically, in the previous encounter, before Gilgamesh, I had the bone mail equipped. And if I then unequip the bone mail through the regular menu, for whatever reason, the game fails to remove the equipment sets immunities that I had in the previous battle. So basically, because I had the bone mail equipped right here, I'm immune to confusion. I'm also immune to aging status, blindness, as well as poison, charm effects, all these kinds of things. We are immune to thanks to this. Either way, I'm just hoping for some critical hits here. We only need to deal about 13,000 damage to him in order to win. Of course, we can't do anything while he is just putting us to sleep. You cannot counterattack after you're being woken up by, well, these attacks. However, we can counterattack this now. That's good. So that's 2 attacks. 3 attacks is about 9,000 damage. So 2 more and we should win. Time Slip would actually affect us if we didn't have the bone mail immunity. Frog sets our attack power to 3. And, well, our attack power being set to 3 is not particularly good, so we need to remove them. Also, it reduces our defense to 0. And Sonic Wave. And put to sleep. So yeah, this is a mean encounter. And Hurricane. Well, we're just still going to try and finish this off here. We did deal a good chunk of damage. The problem is we need at least as many attacks as we already got in order to finish him off here. So yeah, let's see whether we can do that. Yeah, we need more than that. Oh boy. The music is great, I do agree. Going to heal here once in a while. Hey, how convenient, he just used Hurricane. Good thing my heal went off after his Hurricane. Counter-attack, please. Oh well, aside from the first encounter so far, we haven't gotten particularly lucky with counter-attacks. So we are at about 10,000 damage done to him so far. Oh no! It's gonna be like 100. Less than 100 damage now. Yeah, we're dead here. I'm gonna reset. Yeah, the elixir timing unfortunately ended up not helping us. Oh boy. If we get our level halved, you lose so much damage as a monk. It's crazy. Alrighty. Strength armor. And I'm really hoping for these counterattacks. We've gotten, well, not particularly lucky on those so far. We also haven't gotten any critical hits. Let's see. We only have... Actually, let me actually finally look that up. What is the chance for us to critically hit with this? Oh, nice crit right there. Rock Zone. He's gonna attack us before we get another turn here. Alright. I wonder whether the frog had counter-attack or not. It would not be much damage, but would be funny. Another Frog Zone right away. Oh, and Sonic Wave. Again. He has a 1 in 3 chance to use Sonic Wave on 2 of his 5 turns, I think. Something like that. Let's see. Oh. I was looking up stuff, so I got hit by Hurricane. That's alright. Because we're probably not gonna win once we get hit by Sonic Wave. We could also get lucky and resist Sonic Wave. That is entirely possible too. Just not terribly likely. Is it an 8% crit chance? I'm just trying to look it up, but I can't find it right now. Alrighty, immediately minute, so we need to remove the status. Counter attack, please? No? Next crit. Rock song, hey, we resisted it. Oh, nice. He gets 2 attacks right here. Time slip doesn't do anything because we're immune to aging status. Frog song, well, you're a frog again. Rip it. Rip it. Wait. Oh no. I'm using a lucky. I was wondering, why am I still a frog? Did he frog me again while I was looking at the thingy? I used the wrong item. Counter attack! Oh, actually it did counter attack. He gets to attack twice here though. Counter attack. Neat. By the way, his face transition is another counter attack, so I kind of hope he doesn't kill me here. Because he gets to attack like 3 times. If he halves my level now, this is perfectly fine. His second attack, oh no. And hopefully, well, we could have survived, but it's not likely. Nope. Ah. Yeah. So, once you push him into his, like, dialogue sequence, he gets to attack, like, 3 or 4 times in a row, depending on how the timings of the rounds line up. And unfortunately, this really doesn't help us in our case. I'm actually curious, can I open up the menu here? No, I cannot. Range dance. Hey, we resisted it. No sleepy. And Hurricane. We're probably dead here. Yep. I mean, we could use the Elf Cape and have a chance to dodge physical attacks. But I think it's more important to have a better chance for counterattacks instead. But, well, Gilgamesh currently disagrees, it looks like. Well, not getting particularly good luck here, but we will need to luck against Dexter, so this is fine, no worries. Good night. it attack number 2? Thank you for the counter. Attack number 3. 2 more attacks and we would push him into phase 2. Time slip didn't affect us, that's good. Rocket punch, well, going to cost me half my HP. Alrighty. Nice. 1 more attack and he is in phase 2. Counter-attack please. No counter-attack, I have to heal here. He's going to get 1 more attack in before I get to attack him. Then he will get 2 attacks in after, well actually more like 4 probably, before I get to move again. But now we are in phase 2 with decent HP, but he can still use Hurricanes, so it's like, well, let's see whether we get knocked out right here. That would be lesson again. There's the Hurricane. He can technically use Rocket Punch or something like that, that wouldn't kill us, but yeah, chances are not that great. Yep. Ah, what a meanie. What a meanie. Should I try it with an Elf Cape once? Or a 1 in 3 chance to dodge physical attacks? Very deaf. Yeah. But yeah, I still can't find the chance to... let's actually use the Elf Cape for once. I still can't find the critical hit chance for fists in the algorithms guide. Do you know where that is by chance? Hey, we resisted Tiny Song, that's nice. The Elf Cave does give us, I think, more magic evasion, so that does potentially help. We are also immune to Flash, which would blind us. That's nice. Rock Song resisted. It's as if the Elf Cape actually is doing a ridiculous amount of work. It's unlikely that it's specifically the Elf Cape, but technically possible. Also, I did not keep track of how many attacks I did. That's the 2nd critical hit already. What is up with this? He gets 4 attacks here at least. Rock Song is fine. We're just a small frog right now. Time slip we're immune to. So the question is whether I should heal now or later. The reason is he could still use Hurricane, but he could also use Strange Dance and put me to sleep, and then I may not have enough HP to survive his attacks. So basically if he puts me to sleep, he will get guaranteed at least 2 physical attacks in that would potentially like knock me out just like that. And I think he only could use Hurricane, like in previous turns. Alright, we win! That was a mess. That took quite a while. So the way, by the way, turns work in Final Fantasy V is that an enemy or a boss has an AI script associated with it, and he usually chooses between 1 or 3 possible options each turn, and she just kind of has 3 different options each turn, just kind of in a sequence. So he possibly couldn't use Hurricane this turn, probably, but I'm really not sure about that. Also, we can counterattack as a frog. Nice. Alrighty, we are up to 31 deaths. That is 7 deaths to Gilgamesh. Yeah. That is kind of how bad it is to get your level halved in this game. 8.2 Fist is where we find it. 8.2? I was looking for 6.4.6 for Fist damage parameters. Ah, there we go, it's a separate weapon. Yeah, there it is. Thank you. That's where it is. Alrighty, and we're gonna go back to Bone Mail plus Elf Cape remove the froggy status, even though I like it, but it's going to make me rather vulnerable to enemy damage. Let's move back and save. The Elf Cape, the true carry, it looks like it. We've gotten pretty lucky with that Elf Cape, to say the least. Alrighty, so I was just kind of curious, because we need two attacks are about 3000 damage against Gilgamesh, and we need 4, 8, 9, 10. We needed 10, or well, 5 separate attacks, which is 2 fist slashes, which means 10 attacks total. What is the probability of getting at least 1 critical hit with an 8% chance? So that is 0.08 minus 1 times itself, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right, we had a better than a coin flip chance to get at least 1 critical hit in 10 attacks. Frog OP beats Gilgamesh. Yep, frogs are our friends, remember that. Alrighty, now, let me actually briefly illustrate how XDEF is going to work here. So XDEF has 32,768 HP. The thing about XDEF is that we kind of only need to deal half of his HP in damage, because once he drops below 16,000 HP remaining, we effectively win as long as we don't get killed on entry to that phase and can heal ourselves up. Because his second phase, he just casts level 3 spells and physical attacks and nothing else. And we have easily enough HP to survive all of that. However, the problem is, in phase 1, his first turn, he has a 1 in 3 chance to just do a regular attack, which is what we want, and a 2 in 3 chance to use Condemn, which is what we don't want, because Condemn puts a timer above our heads, and once the timer reaches 0, we are dead. And there's nothing you can do about it in this game. In Final Fantasy VI, you can equip the ring that makes you undead, and it's just going to stop at 0 and do nothing. But in Final Fantasy V, even with the bone mail, which kind of does the equivalent, you're just gonna get knocked out. Plus, we couldn't heal ourselves with the bone mail, so that would be bad. Either way, he has a total of 10 different AI turns on what he can do various things, and some of those turns are pretty dangerous, and he does have a lot of speed. He is a fair bit faster than we are. So basically, we need to both be worried about physical damage, but also we need to deal enough physical damage to push him into phase 2. I'm gonna equip the wall ring that is specifically for phase 2, because once we get into phase 2 with the wall ring, we effectively win. And before that, we have the bandana and strength armor, because we can't really use the bone mail, even though the physical defense would be nice, because he hits like a truck. I'm also keeping the plus 30% HP ability equipped, because the only other thing that I could technically do would be using build up in order to double my damage output. So the thing is, build up is very slightly faster than me attacking twice, but I can't do anything in between once I start the build up. So if he just hits me too hard and I would need to heal, that would be a problem. And it actually is not more damage than just attacking twice with physical attacks, unfortunately, because defense will just affect either attack equally. In the Steam remake, you cast slow on XDEF, he immediately cast haste on himself and destroyed you. Yep, that's what he does in this version as well, if you ever try to cast slow on him. There's ways around that are kind of interesting, but yeah. Alrighty, Condemn, and we are dead. So this is going to be how most of the fights will start off. But basically, we need to get some critical hits, and if I'm not wrong, my calculation suggests that I need to land, let's see, so level 53? So I need to attack him about 7 times. assuming we don't miss, he has a chance to dodge. I need to attack him about 7 times. That does include counterattacks, by the way. This counts as an attack. If I manage to do this, we will push him into phase 2 before phase 1 is over. Before he like loops in phase 1. So effectively, one critical hit will count for half a attack in a sense. But it also guarantees that some of the misses are gonna be covered as well. Plus it actually does more than just double damage with critical hit because it also ignores his defense. Hey! Wow! We actually managed to push him into phase 2 despite the condemn. I'm very impressed with our little monk here. But yeah, as soon as the timer reaches 0, we are dead. So, turns out we are probably pretty fine on the damage end of things. We might not even have needed to go all the way to level 53 for this. But yeah, looking pretty good for our damage output. Just need to get a bit luckier. Well, we need to get the 1 in 3 attack at the beginning where he doesn't do the thing. That's kind of the short version. So normally, any other character would also equip the Guardian Dagger at the beginning of battle, because that gives you 1 in 4 chance to block physical attacks. And since you have to get the physical attack at the very beginning anyways, well, might as well equip a dagger that has a 1 in 4 chance to block that attack. Alrighty. Which, by the way, the only classes that I played so far that technically could defeat X-Death here were Oracle, Time Mage... Well, without it, let me revert that real quick. Oracle, Time Mage, and White Mage were the classes that technically could defeat X-Death without excessive grinding. They just needed to farm enough light staves. Because breaking light staff casts Holy on this guy, and he is weak to Holy Element. So you would just break 3 light staves and do a little bit of damage and you would win. And you could do that before the counter runs all the way down. But yeah, let's see how this is gonna go. We literally just need to get the 1 in 3 physical attack. And now that I've demonstrated Condemn, I'm just gonna actually do the reset thingy. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to equip the stuff beforehand already, so I can just walk into the encounter. Unlike with Gilgamesh, there's no reason for me to have the Bone Mill equipped before X-Death. He has no status effects that could affect this in any particularly bad way. So I'm just equipping stuff here for the battle itself already. Plus, this is going to give me a different starting RNG here. And starting RNG would kind of help me circumvent this encounter here in particular. I don't know what encounter or no encounters I will get with changing up my equipment and saving afterwards. But chances are I might get no encounters or I might get 3. Either way, this is going to be effectively a battle of endurance, because even if I get the 1 in 3 that he does not cast Condemn, there's still a pretty solid chance that he will just straight up kill me anyways. Because he does deal a lot of damage, let's put it that way. We do have a lot of HP, but yeah. But then... And hey, Wild Fury, welcome. I was your number 2 watch channel last year. Oh wow. Thank you. One in 3 means 100% for this game sometimes. Yeah, actually, that's not just a joke like it is for XCOM, for example, where sometimes it feels like certain percentages are just 100% of the time. This is literally a limitation of the random number generator of the game, because it's entirely possible that I am kind of in a, like... Let me back off real quick. When I save, Various variables are taken, like my equipment, the first like 60 items of my inventory, that is used in order to generate the initial starting value for randomness. And because randomness in Final Fantasy V is not exactly perfectly random, it can often happen that you get a certain cluster of values that always give you condemned at the beginning of a battle. So if that happens, I recommend you just rearrange your items in your inventory kind of at random, and then just save again and reset, and then you might get a different cluster. Because sometimes in some solo challenges we had it where... Oh, hey, nice, we get a chance here. Sometimes in some solo challenges we had it where XDev decided to cast Condemn like literally 20 or 30 times in a row, which is when I didn't know about these things yet. And other times we had it the other way around, where it was more like a 60% chance that he would do a physical attack at the beginning. So yeah. Either way, I'm gonna try and keep track of how much damage we deal, so let's go. By the way, he has a chance to cast or counterattack with Dispel every time we physically attack him. Dynamo is actually curious enough not what we want to see. His alternative in this turn is Vacuum Wave. The Vacuum Wave deals a lot of physical damage, but it's physical, so we can counterattack it. So yeah, I'll actually real quick go back to my notes so I know where he is in his AI script. That's kind of important for decision making here. Alrighty, he just casted Gravity 100. I think he's gonna get 2 turns at once, but it should be fine no matter what. Yeah, he does get here. This will counterattack. Earthshake here, this is where you would like to have float, because that's 520 damage just kind of avoided for free. But if you cast Dispel as a counterattack anyways, chances are we wouldn't have it here. Next he is going to hopefully not attack twice, I don't know yet actually. Another miss, that doesn't help. Flame. Alright, we actually have to wait here and heal after his next move, no matter what he does. He has a 2 in 3 chance to use Hurricane, which puts us into critical HP, or a 1 in 3 chance to just do a regular attack, which, well, either way we would have to heal. Also, we are not quite halfway through his HP, so we need some good counterattacks and some critical hits in order to make it before... Oh, nice. Before he goes into his second phase here. Bio counterattack is actually decent. It's about 200-ish damage added. So next, he either uses Vacuum Wave or level 3 Flare. He's level 66, so a reflected level 3 Flare will actually hit him. But it's actually not going to push him into phase 2. Yeah, okay, unfortunately, we need to get lucky that he does not use Condemn next turn, because he's not quite past... Oh wow, he did not use Condemn. Seriously? Oh my goodness. Okay, we win. I'm gonna go into the back row to reduce the physical damage taken. And that's it. All I'm gonna do here is literally just defend and counterattack, and that's all I'm gonna do. Because at this point, he has no more attacks that can effectively instantly kill me. He attacks twice per turn, which is mildly dangerous, but because I have the Reflect Ring equipped, and so much maximum HP, we effectively win. Alright, we did get really lucky. Like, we didn't just get the 1 in 3 at the beginning of battle, which, well, we have to, in order to even get the fight started. But we also got the... counterattack twice. Nice. But we also, on top of that, got the 1 in 3 in the middle of the battle, where he just needed to avoid Condemn again, because we did not quite deal enough damage. We actually were pretty close with dealing enough damage to him in order to push him into phase 2 before his second Condemn turn. Like, we were very close on that. Just not quite enough. Right, I'm just gonna use high potions here. Alright. You know what? I'm just gonna play safe and use an elixir instead. I was kind of wondering, maybe I could save an elixir, but I would have had to start healing with high potions before this, I think. Better safe than sorry, because... well, it's not a difficult fight, honestly, once you get to this point, but getting to this point requires a bit of luck. Admittedly, with our monk, that was actually a lot less luck required than a lot of other classes do. I'm actually pleasantly surprised on how easy this was. The counterattacks were in this encounter too, because they just add additional damage on top of kind of wanting the physical attacks anyway, so he doesn't do more of his nasty spells. Alrighty. That was a lot less deaths against X-Death than it was against... that was only 2 deaths, I think. That was the 3rd try on X-Death, so that was a lot less deaths against X-Death than... well... the Crystal Guardians. And hey, Ricodactylus, welcome. I'm doing quite fine, thank you. Well... to be fair, I have a little bit of a headache, so the stream might be a little bit shorter than I would like it to be, but we'll see. And welcome, hope you're doing well. Gilgamesh confirmed harder than this boss. Well, Gilgamesh does require a bit more luck on average actually. We just needed the 1 in 3 for X-Death to have a really good chance of winning. And thank you. Aside from the Soul Cannon fight, these boss fights are super easy on Monk. I mean, the Soul Cannon itself was easy. It's just that the previous ones before that required a fair bit of luck to get the correct flame launches rather than rocket thingies. I actually kind of plan on adjusting my death count list at some point to account for, like, extreme possible spikes like rocket launches and flame launches not being included in the death count. There's kind of a separate count for, like, certain scenarios, because these can just be entirely, well, depending on how much luck you get. Yeah, yesterday was a weird day for me, where I woke up so late that I tried to just... like, I tried to get up early, but I was not in good shape to get up. Unfortunately. And I feel like because I tried to get up early, like I set an alarm, it ended up kind of being pretty weird. So death counter as reset counter? No, not quite. I do still want to count like resets as deaths on average, but it's more like specific bosses or encounters that are, well, just a lot more random than others. I would want to, like, exclude to an extent from the second counter. Like, specifically, the rocket launchers are some of them. Then others would be like Shinryu as well as Omega, just kind of excluding those as well, because not everybody's gonna fight them either way. And then maybe also a counter that shows without XDEF and Neo XDEF, or just exclusively XDEF and Neo XDEF, just to kind of have a comparison there to get an idea, so to speak. Alrighty, aside from that, I'm going to go ahead and use the Elf Cape Foot. Actually, no, I'm gonna use the Power Ring again. Same case as against XDEF. Excuse me, Gilgamesh in XDEF's castle. The next boss can actually half my level again, and I don't want to attach the dodge the physical attacks. I just want a counter attack to have less chance of the level getting halved. Welcome to you. Danebread? Hang on. Yeah, Danebread. Hope you have a nice day. It's going quite alright. Yeah, that does sound rough, blood. And hey, man, Block, welcome. How are you doing today? Thank you for the good luck. So this next boss, despite being, generally speaking, what I call, well, a mini-boss of little significance, for the monk, actually it might be more significant than other bosses, because halving a level, quarters are damaged than just, well, halving it as a monk, so if he does end up casting Sonic Wave on us, we might be in trouble. The first Sonic Wave, we will probably still be able to beat it. The second one, we will probably get knocked out, unless we want to invest a lot of elixirs. So, curious enough, this might be. Also, I just remembered, what I also would want to exclude is the solo Gilgamesh battle at the beginning of World 2 with Galuf, as well as the Antlion battles, probably. Because not every solo character did those. You're doing good. Finally got you sub 3 hours on Insanity percent yesterday. That sounds like a lot of work. Nice. Congratulations. Alrighty. Alright, you knock yourself back to sleep. Good night. And we just hit this guy. So this guy is Antlion, has about 8,800 HP. It might be 8,100. I always get that wrong. I think it's 8,100. Either way, just a few attacks and he's gonna escape. But as I said, he could have used Sonic Wave, and that would have been potentially been, wow, really, really bad if he did that like 2 or 3 times. But hey, we are fine. I see. Have a good time, Blood. I think this was faster than most of your casual runs. Well, very possible. But then again, I'm quite over-leveled, to say the least. Level 53 is huge at this point. I'm not sure it will be enough for XDEF at the end of World 1. I actually meant to calculate the damage I would do against XDEF, or Neo XDEF I suppose, but I didn't really get around to doing that yet. I mean, I guess I could do this now. Let's just see. Breathe. Alrighty. Is the correct one? That's the wrong one. There we go, found him. Alrighty, the last XDF has actually 10 more defense than the current one has. That's a lot of defense increase. That's 35. Defense total. Actually is a pretty substantial increase. Quack. Bark. Yeah, level 53 is when I had enough maximum HP to reasonably be able to try and tackle Atmos. But what I didn't quite account for is that the monk's damage scales, well as it does. So the maximum HP ended up being worthwhile for the monk, but not for the reason why I thought it would be. I was basically just going to try and do the similar fight as I did with a solo Geomancer against Atmos, without like having the allies help out, but the monk just had so much damage it just knocked out Atmos right away. Alrighty, so right now we deal about 1000 damage per punch to XDF at the end. I do not think that is quite sufficient, honestly. I feel like that is too many attacks required. I'm so confused right now. Turtle. Yep, super strong turtle, to say the least. But yeah, right now, as I said, we're currently doing just about 1000-ish damage to the final XDF, each individual punch, which I think would not be quite sufficient to defeat him. To be completely honest. Also, one thing I would like to point out that I didn't consider beforehand. So I mentioned that Hermes handles are pretty much always better in solo character challenge runs. That might not entirely be true, as in compared to Kaiser Knuckles that we run. That might, in hindsight, that might not be entirely true, because I did not account for counterattacks. Because if an enemy attacks physically a lot and you have a lot of chances to counterattack, it might be better to use Kaiser Knuckles in theory. Although it would potentially be a lot more risky, because you kind of plan on just taking more damage in that case. Either way, we have more than enough maximum HP to survive most things as a monk. Maximum HP for once is really not a problem. The problem is to survive the many attacks that we would have to endure against, well, the final form. Plus, we will still take a lot of damage. Gonna be like 2400 per Vacuum wave, I think. A little bit more maximum HP would go kind of a long way as well. Really not sure. Also, if I wanted to level, I'm also not entirely sure where I would do that either. So this is normally where we would get a substantial power boost for most classes if they didn't already have really good spells. Because this is where you can either get the chicken knife or the brave blade. Both of these weapons are just ridiculously overpowered in comparison to effectively any other weapon that you can equip. The thing is, we cannot equip weapons as a monk, so, well, we don't get that opportunity. As such, we might as well go directly into a pyramid, because there's nothing else to get. We could, in theory, use a chicken knife. Yeah. Possible small exception for Apollo's harp. I don't think a monk can equip Apollo's harp, can we? Or am I misunderstanding something? Either way, welcome to Gargoyles. They have 5000 HP each. And... please counterattack? These things have 5000 HP each. If one of them is dead, the other one will revive that former body. So, yeah. This actually might work out really well with the counters right here. Yep, this works out well. So yeah, they didn't revive each other because both of them got knocked out at the same time. You mean like what's one of the weapons that isn't just outclassed by those? Oh, by the chicken knife and brave blade. I see. Well, that's a fair assessment. There's actually, to be fair, there is a number of weapons that can have various types of benefits over the chicken knife and brave blade. Among other things, like weapons that deal full damage from the back row do have, well, obviously the advantage that you deal full damage from the back row. I'm just curious how much damage we deal. Not enough. Man, Lamya's so blunt. So, here's where our low agility comes into play again, because most of the enemies are just going to outpace us, so there's that. So we just get hit, and then we can hit after that. But yeah, it's true, Apollo's harp is probably one of the better examples of weapons that... I don't need to open this. Keep forgetting. By the way, Apollo's harp is probably one of the better examples of weapons that can absolutely do better than a chicken knife or a brave blade. In specific circumstances, like, well, against dragons or undead, so to speak. That is very true. I mean, at this point I might as well finish them off. The cursed ones do have a fair bit of HP, they also hit pretty hard, all things considered. But because we have so much maximum HP, it doesn't feel like a whole lot either way. And we get a flame shield. I just basically out of habit pick up this chest. The flame shield, even if we can't equip it, is just worth a lot of money, so that's kind of what you may want to go out of your way for in these sections here. Also, we got poisoned. Oops. Should have waited for the staircase to be no longer a slide. And here we have... machine head enemies. Machine head enemies love to use missile, which is 75% of our current health in damage. And they can also use Surge Beam in the second turn if they feel like it. He skipped his turn, so that's convenient. I was hoping for a crit there. He also skipped his third turn, so we got lucky there. So these guys are really scary, because Surge Beam deals 50% of our maximum health in damage in one attack. Missile is 75% of our current health, so a second missile wouldn't be too bad. But Surge Beam would have killed us. I'm trying to get past these guys without more than one encounter, and we got it. Basically the various chests in here contain elixirs and stuff like that. These ones here are kinda spooky. Let me actually equip the Elf Cape for a chance to dodge physical attacks here. So these are mummies. Mummies are really fast for some reason. They deal decent physical damage, but more importantly, if only one mummy remains in the end, it will have a chance to cast Dance of the Dead, which turns a random party member into a zombie. And the problem about this is that the random party member could also be Butts, and if Butts is a zombie, we automatically lose. Alright, this might knock it out. It does, alright. So basically I was just waiting here until we knock out one of the mummies with a counterattack, so the other one would not be able to attack with its Dance of the Dead, because I just knocked it out before that. Alrighty, save point acquired. This is what I really wanted before doing anything. So what I can do is I can now go back. The chest on the left contains, I think, a white robe or a black robe. Either way, it's black or mage equipment. This chest here contains an elixir. The chest in the center contains a thornlet, which is heavy armor and only very useful in the very, very specific circumstances, so not useful right now. So yeah, just trying to dodge these machine head enemies to grab the elixirs, and that's about it. That actually worked surprisingly well. Just walk through all the robots. Yeah, there's very specific frames where you can just walk through them. You need to get lucky in order for it to work though. Like, I got very lucky. Either way, there's actually chests I'm going to go for in this area here that I don't normally go for. And I need to get lucky, so what I mean with this is there is a chest with a specific encounter I'm actually looking for, which is strange, because normally what you want to do is you want to get the items out of the chest, but in this case I would like to get the enemies out of the chest specifically. Because these enemies have a chance to drop us the Kaiser Knuckles. Also, by the way, Zephyr Zone has a lot of physical evasion, so chances of hitting her, not that great. And as lowly armored as she looks, she does have a lot of physical defense too, if I'm not mistaken. Not enough to withstand our punches, if we ever hit her. But yeah, I'm trying to run away this entire time because I'm literally just looking to get to the chest. So, yeah. Come forth, evil one. She summons these weird enemies that you may have seen in previous areas. Oh no, Sonic Wave. These enemies here are different versions of enemies in previous areas. So they are actually usually stronger and have different abilities and effects. So yeah, I'm just gonna try and run away here. I don't know whether Lunento does anything aside from level 3 Flare or Sonic Wave. Ah, there we go, finally away. Our damage was pitiful. Alright, I don't know which chest it is. It might be this one, might be the other one. I want the monster in the box. These ones here specifically. These are called Fall Guards. They have a rare drop of a Kaiser Knuckle that I would like to have. So I'm literally looking to fight these guys in order to get their rare drop. Which means if I don't get it, because it's a chest encounter, I will need to reset. I wonder whether they have a counter attack, I don't remember. I'm pretty sure a vacuum blade is a... Yep, that's a counter attack. So these guys actually counterattack with Vacuum Blade. Apparently that also inflicts the aging status on me. I did not even realize that. They have 4000 HP. I'm gonna try and run away from the encounter here. To be fair, I still deal okay damage right now. But yeah. Okay. So here what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna use build up in order to double attack these guys for probably what is all of their HP. Bone Mail for more physical defense actually sounds like a good idea, so let's go. Alrighty. This time we didn't get back attacked by the chest encounter, so that's nice. All the three just dodged. That's impressive. Alright, and we just one-cycle these guys at this point. That's good. Wow. Are you serious? That's 5 Elf Cape dodges in a row. 6. 7. It's a 1 in 3 chance to dodge. Let me put it this way. Charging up. Wait, he charges up too? Well, he's too low for charging up. And we get the Kaiser Knuckles first try. What's up with that? Alright, to be fair, it's like a slightly better than 20% chance for this, because there's 3 enemies. But hey, we got the thing. We also get a dark suit. Wait, we kinda... I forgot about this. The dark suit is actually our endgame armor too. For the most part anyways. So we can use that too. Okay, let's get the dark suit. That's a Yaga luck fight, it is. Alright, so this Kaiser Knuckles give us +5 strength, which is a lot. Also a decent amount of physical defense. But more importantly, if you are a monk and use the physical attack abilities, you will have +50 base attack. Let me put it this way. We deal almost 2,500 damage with a regular hit to the Bland Lamia. That is almost 1,000 damage more than we did before. So, yeah. Kaiser Knuckle adds a lot of damage here to our attacks, so that helps a lot. The reason why I wanted to get it here is you can get a guaranteed Kaiser Knuckle in the chest in a later area, but we're not going to go to that later area because it's quite a bit out of the way. So, yeah, I'm just gonna ignore that. Wow. I don't know what these enemies do if they are alone, so I'd rather just finish them off. Huh. How likely is it to one-shot these guys with this? And yes, exactly. One of the big reasons why Kaiser Knuckles right now, once we get the Hermes Sandals, even though we won't deal as much damage, we literally go twice as fast. And so we get two times the amount of turns. So that's kind of strictly better than dealing like anything but 100% more damage per turn. With the exception, as I mentioned before, of counterattacks. Counterattacks would still technically be useful in that respect. 2k kick was pretty meaty, it is. Alrighty, we could drop down here for that chest up there to get an elixir, but I think I'm just gonna skip out on it. Gold Hairpin halves the MP cost of your spells, so it's really good for mages. The chest I'm skipping contains a ribbon, which is an insanely good headgear equipment piece, but I can't equip it. The guard ring is a really good accessory for defense and gives you automatic regeneration, so that can help a lot too. Oh wow, you can't cut the MP cost of punch by 50%. I mean, yeah, I suppose. Which, for anybody who might actually be curious, punching and kicking does not cost any MP. Welcome back. Hey Blood! We got 7 Elf Cape dodges in a row and the Kaiser Knuckle rare drop first try. So I think I've gotten pretty lucky. Alrighty, welcome to over here. So what I was actually considering is, I'm pretty sure a monk can do a similar grind as the Solo Berserker we did in the pyramid. And I feel like that might be worthwhile. For reference, the way the Solo Berserker grind went is I equipped the Guard Ring, which gives you automatically regeneration. And I stuck the Berserker into the last combat slot, which always gives you regeneration at the very beginning of battle. I don't know why. It's specific to, I think, the last and the second last party slots where you get a regeneration tick at the very beginning of battle, so it helped a lot, to say the least. You survive a lot. But either way, let's go for this next boss here. I think I'm just gonna keep the Kaiser Knuckles equipped, honestly. What I could do in theory is equip the Strength Armor for even more strength. Kind of makes it a bit overkill. So better slightly more defense, I suppose. Either way, the upcoming boss is called Merugine, or Melusine, and she has 20,000 HP, but the gimmick about her is that she is always weak to light, fire, or ice, or she has 0 physical defense. If she's not weak to a specific element, she will absorb it as healing, and if she's not weak to physical attacks, she has really high physical defense. Even though she definitely does not look particularly well armored. Yeah. Also, by the way, X-Death is a crab, because he walks back sideways here. So his secret identity is he is a crab tree. It actually looks better on the Game Advance version because he waddles as well while walking or while flying sideways, I guess. TOS, TOS, TOS. Right. Crab apple tree. Coconut crab, yep. But a mean one. Yeah, it's a pretty lengthy cutscene. So if I lose this fight here, that would be less than pleasant. Either way, I will be able to punch through Melusine's physical defense with the Kaiser Knuckles and the high physical attack power that we have already as a monk. So that's pretty good. However, She also has evasion. I tend to forget about that. Alrighty, I'm just hoping for critical hits in order to actually deal some damage. This is where I could have used a diamond plate. Oh, that's way more damage than I anticipated it would be. 5,000 critical hits. Alright, that's half her HP gone already. I'm kind of hoping that she changes form. Wow, another crit, really? Wow. Mark was having none of it. He got absolutely destroyed. While she resists Fist, she is still vulnerable to Big Fist. Something like that. Mighty strong punches there. Yeah, she got ruined a little bit. Alrighty. And we have Linda in our party again, appropriately already sleeping. Also, appropriately, I do knock out most of the enemies in one turn with the Kaiser Knuckles. It's actually quite neat. By the way, fun fact, these Elmgigas enemies that are floating, they are always asleep at the beginning of battle. Like literally, unless you physically attack them, they don't wake up and will never attack you. Kind of weird. But I also think it's pretty fun, because I think the environmental storytelling is that they usually come in combination with sleepy enemies. So I think the idea is that the sleepy enemies actually put the Elmgigas bodies to sleep, as they do with us right here. I would like to point out that we are in the back row, dealing 1000 damage per hit. So Kaiser Knuckles do make a huge difference for dealing damage, but unfortunately for them, they are not quite as good as using the Hermes sandals that we are about to get. Hey Komaru, welcome. I hope you're doing well. Today's stream might be a bit shorter than I would like it to be due to a headache. And I might actually just set up for the pyramid grind. And then, well, I'll be done with it for now. But at the same time, maybe I shouldn't do the pyramid grind, because that might trivialize. That might trivialize the rest of the game. But then again, maybe it would just be fun to just overlevel a character to a ridiculous degree and just smash everything for once. What do you think, everybody? What is more interesting? Keeping a low level and trying to defeat the enemies with what we have? Or just kind of punching everything with a max level character? What's your opinion? Destroy. Mark. Because this is actually kind of a unique opportunity, I guess, where... well, maybe not that unique. I did have a pretty decently high power level with the ninja to kick Nets to death. Oh boy. You want to see how crazy scaling the monk attack scaling is? Alright, so I think what we wanna maybe do is... yeah. So, let me actually back off real quick. So monk attack scaling is not quite as extreme as it is in Final Fantasy 1, but it is definitely up there. So, I'm going to set up for a grind, but I'm not going to make 2 separate save files for this. So I'm going to keep one monk save file at the level we have approximately right now, and I'm going to make a monk save file after the grind. You did some math on this one of Workshop Fiesta Discord. For a monk with 50 strength to hit Omega reliably sword dance for 9999, you'd have to be level 103. Interesting. You can actually attain level 103 because there is external means to level up your characters in combat through Bard Song or Chemist mixes. So that's not that out there, curiously enough. Either way, I think what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna just set up everything to go into the void at this point. Also, out of habit, I'm just gonna pick up the Thief's Knife, because why not? But in this challenge run, I will pretty much not... I don't even need to go and grab a legendary weapon, because I can't use any of them. I can't even steal a Mirage Vest, so I have to actually get the side quest here. What am I doing down here? Muscle memory just carried me over here. Wow. Max level is marked 255, you think? It's actually not quite accurate, so... well... I think it's not quite accurate. I think, anyway. So I think the way it works in Final Fantasy V, the way you level up your character is there's a separate counter for Monk level plus, as well as Chemist level plus. And both of these counters can go up to... wait. The Monk level plus can actually go up to plus 99 if I'm not mistaken, and the Chemist level plus can go to plus 255, I think. So, unless it is hard capped at 255, which it might be, I don't really know that. Unless it is hard capped at 255, you can in theory get 99 plus 99 plus 255 or 256 levels. Because I know it is separate counters, and the Bard lost level counter stops at plus 99. Either way, I don't know why I went to grab the Black Jacobo. Because I actually want to go in here into the city instead. So alrighty. Mirage Village, by the way, in case you're curious how you even figured out that this is here, there's a bit of a hint in the trench where you meet the dwarves in the underground, and one of the dwarves says, huh, I hear some rummage around, and if you connect the dots that the entire underground where you meet the dwarves is basically kind of a representation of the entire world, you can figure out where Mirage Village is hidden, which, yeah, is pretty neat. Either way, here we can buy running shoes. Running shoes are the most overpowered equipment piece in the entire game, maybe in the entirety of... actually, probably not in the entirety of Final Fantasy games, but it's probably up there. Let me explain real quick. The running shoes give you permanent haste status, which is pretty ridiculously insanely good in this game. As I said, you basically go twice as fast, even more sometimes, but it kinda depends. But the short version is you go way faster. But on top of that, it makes you immune to being put to sleep, being stop status, or slow status, or paralyzed. So on top of the most powerful buff permanently applied to you in the game, you also are immune to a number of other status effects. Kind of crazy. Also, we get a Dark Hood here, which is better defense than the Strength Bandana. It's not as much strength, it's only +1 strength and +2 agility actually. But the additional... wait, it doesn't give strength. Really? Oh yeah, it doesn't give strength, which just gives +2 agility. Either way, I think the additional physical defense is worth it to equip the Dark Hood and the Dark Suit instead of anything else. So that's kind of how I'm gonna go with it. So this is basically my final setup for the rest of the game. The Hermes sandals are just, well, way too good compared to anything else, so you probably don't really want to equip anything else at this point. Unless you have an external source of haste for your monk. Then the Kaiser Knuckles actually can excel the other accessories, because, well, plus 5 strength is substantial. They also give good defense, and more importantly, 50 raw attack power, which... How much attack power do we have at level 53 right now? Let me put that into perspective right now. Actually, to put it into a different perspective, the Brave Blade has 150 attack power baseline. That's just flat attack power. That's the strongest weapon in this game here. The Game Boy Advance remake and the additional dungeons have better weapons, but that's... do they? Either way, that's besides the point. So 150 is the gold standard for the strongest weapon. That thing, the accessory alone, gives you plus 50 additional attack power, no matter what other weapon you might be using. If you attack, well, actually, no, only with the fists you're using. So that's a lot. But on top of that, at level 53, our attack power is on average 115.5, but 115. So we have more attack power than the Brave Blade in conjunction with the Kaiser Knuckles. And we attack twice because fists attack twice. So just kind of to put that into perspective, that is indeed potentially very worthwhile. Either way, here we can also buy elixirs, 50,000 each. Why not? We have enough money for buying 8 elixirs, and there's that. Alrighty, and we are not quite done yet with setting up stuff. Basically, I'm setting up to go into the final dungeon with this setup here. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go ahead and grab a very important item. That item is called the Magic Lamp. By the way, here we could get legendary weapons. We can't equip any of them, so I'm just gonna skip out on it. The legendary weapons are, well, ranging from not terribly interesting or even bad at times to actually really crazy good. Or sometimes even just convenient. Either way, here we grab the Magic Lamp. The Magic Lamp is an item you can use in combat, and every time you use it, it gives you a summon spell. It starts from the strongest summon and goes all the way through the weakest summon, if you use it. And it doesn't only refresh if you bring the Magic Lamp back there or somewhere in the trench, underground, basically under History Falls, if you will. Either way, the short version is that the third summon of the Magic Lamp is an instant death against all enemies that are not inherently, well, immune against time magic based instant death spells. So it's really ridiculously good. And that's exactly what I will want to use against the final boss, because one of the parts of the final boss is going to be incredibly dangerous unless you have immunity to petrification, which we do not have in any capacity, unfortunately. So it's kind of important that we knock that part out immediately. Plus it has 60,000 HP in case you're curious, so that's a lot of HP. I don't remember where to go through. This is wrong, isn't it? Yeah, this is wrong. Either way, Magic Lamp can be incredibly useful against a number of bosses, not just against the final one. We will likely use, or possibly use it against 2 bosses before that too, then go back outside and refresh it. Either way, it's a really, really helpful item. So, aside from that, you might be wondering, hey, why are you walking around the entire world on a yellow chocobo? And that is for a different reason. Walking around the world on a yellow chocobo, well, is actually a little side quest. That little side quest basically is a guy in the Mirage Village telling you, hey, if you manage to circumnavigate the entire world on a, well, ground-based chocobo, I'm gonna give you something special. And that something special is actually very, very crazy good too. Oops, wrong way. And so, well, that's exactly what I'm gonna go for here. Worth noting, that NPC that gives you that special item is not there anymore when words. That special NPC is not there anymore when you go into the void for the first time. So I literally just went once around the world on a yellow chocobo buddy. And now we should be able to get our special item from it. You wonder how the game knows how you circumnavigated the world, like where are the trigger points located? Yes, I'm actually wondering about that myself. I don't really know, unfortunately. Would be interesting to know. Why would you need weapons when you can just punch stuff? Yep. So this guy is here. And we get the Mirage Vest. The Mirage Vest is a pretty crazy item for armor that gives you a very special buff. It has basically no stats, not really good defense or magic defense, but if you equip it, you get 1 charge of image. Normally image is 2 charges by default, but you can just get 1. But that 1 charge of image is incredibly helpful because it gives you effectively 1 physical attack is absorbed and misses, guaranteed. The ninja is the one that can cast image as an ability, and the white mage is one who can cast the white magic image as an ability. So those are normally the only 2 characters that have access to that, but with the Mirage Vest, everybody has access to that. It's really, really, really good. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make 2 save files here. One is right here, this is our level 53 monk, and the other one, I'm just gonna remove the butt here, is this one here. And just kind of as a heads up, as I mentioned before, unfortunately I have quite a bit of a headache today, so I was just kind of trying to see how long I can stream, and I probably should rest sooner rather than later. However, what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go ahead and set up for a very specific grind. I don't really know whether this is gonna work as a monk. I think it works, but I don't really know. We'll see. But yeah, I'm going to basically set up a grind that is going to effectively just run on its own. I'm not going to do anything with it. It's just going to hopefully sustain forever. And I'm going to take a break while running the console and holding up and A the entire time. So for that I will need to go to a specific place in the pyramid here. And going there might take a while because, well, we can't easily run away from encounters. Another good place is where you can get the magic toad. Oh. Price lesson. Along a few single white tiles along the path, I think. You can tell on the GBA version actually. On the GBA, when you walk over a trigger on the map, you pause for a frame or 2. Ah, I see, that's kind of neat. By the way, you can see the haste or running shoes in action here already. Permanent haste just makes you so ridiculously much faster. So it helps a lot to just punch enemies before they get to do anything. But curious enough, running shoes are not going to be what I will equip. I will be using the guard rings, because even with running shoes I will likely get hit by various enemies along the way. This is the Super Nintendo version with a fan translation. I love that scared sprite, it's great. Either way, I think this is the closest save point to where I want to be. Let's see. Is there one later? I don't think there's one later. Yeah, I think Zephyrson seems to have about 4000 HP, so 4 successful hits probably do the trick. Also, she has a 1 in 16 chance to drop us an elixir if we're lucky. Then again, I don't really need that many more elixirs, especially if we end up deciding to run with the powered up monk. One thing I'm actually curious about is, if I use build up, it feels like I'm going faster than usual, but I don't really know that, I guess. I would actually be really curious on how the build-up weighting works on a technical level. Similarly, I would be really curious about how paralyzation is calculated and works, because the algorithms guide isn't conclusive about it, let's put it this way. Right, that should knock her out. Bit unfortunate that I keep running into Zephyr zones, which you can't really run away from efficiently, because I'm trying to just get to the grinding spot. Alrighty, I hope this works. I don't really know yet whether it works, but we'll see. So here, I'm just gonna go up the right side, because this is kind of where I want to be in the end. Alrighty. By the way, the chests I don't pick up here contain dark matter. Dark matter is a chemist mixing ingredient, so I don't really need it. So alrighty, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to equip the guard ring, which gives me more vitality, which unfortunately vitality doesn't do anything for my maximum HP, but what it does help with is actually how much I regenerate, and that's also what the guard ring gives you. Guard ring gives you permanent regeneration status, but that's really good by itself. Then on top of that, what I'm gonna do is I will put butts into the last character slot, and at the very beginning of battle, I will always... Also give me plus 38% HP, might as well. Actually, I wonder if the Bone Mill is better than Mirage West, because that's a lot of physical defense. Either way, yeah, I'm just gonna go with the Bone Mill for now. So, in the last character slot, I will always gain a regeneration tick at the very beginning of battle, based on my maximum HP and vitality, I think. So, 175 healed. We take barely any damage. So all I need to do now, in order to grind here, is hold up and A. And this will basically go on for more or less forever. The guard ring will just kind of heal me. I have so much defense that pretty much no enemy is going to be able to defeat me in much of a capacity. We even counterattack, and that's going to be it. So this is the grind. I'm going to find some rubber bands in order to hold down the buttons, and then I'm just gonna let my Super Nintendo run overnight, probably. But yeah, in case you're curious, this is a very easy way to grind. Oh, by the way, these things would like to use Dark Shock. Dark Shock would be really bad for us. Oh, I just realized if I hold up and A, I'm going to select fight, I suppose, rather than pick. Huh. It's going to be fine either way. Either way, this is just going to be, well, an AFK grind. This is why I made a separate save file before the pyramid. Because this way we have both our old monk, if we decide to go with our old monk, or our overpowered monk, eventually too. So everybody, as mentioned before, unfortunately I have quite a headache today. So I'm gonna go ahead and say thank you very much for watching. for listening and for lurking. I hope you enjoyed the show, and hopefully until next time, I'm gonna let this run for a while, and I wish you all a good time.